Hi, everybody. Queen Crystal King in the building. Just want to say hi to everybody. It's like 6:29 in the morning, December 24th, 2021. And I've been going through some aches and pains today, but I've been hanging to the best of my ability. I'd like to thank each and every one who mentioned me, good, bad, or indifferent. I thank you for your prayers and your well wishes, and I would like to return that prayers and well wishes back to you and your family. Right now, I'm in the process of getting my meat together and seasoning it so it can marinate for a couple of hours before I start it. I'm extremely happy and I'm extremely grateful that through all the ups and downs and all the aches and pains, God still chose me to wake up this morning. And that's where my priority comes in. I prioritize because I have to do what's important first. Now, a large part of me wanted to just go out here and act a donkey because I feel like, hey, why not? But when I think about it and I'm asking the Lord to give me some relief so that I can handle a few things and take care of some stuff around my apartment and, you know, be able to do the things that I need to do within the capacity of my limitations. I feel like I've done well. I'd like to say that I know that everyone doesn't worship the same. And if you will indulge me, I'll just share a little bit of how I worship with you. I was taught as a child, and I believe as an adult, that there was a sacrifice made in order for me to be forgiven. Should I ask for forgiveness or feel like I want to make things right that I've wronged? So I feel like there was a sacrifice made for my life, my entire family's life, so that should we make mistakes and should we not get it always right, we can ask God to forgive us and we can move on. And I always thought as a kid, when you say, oh, I'm sorry, or forgive me, or I apologize, you know, people were supposed to do that automatically because you said it. It doesn't always work that way. So, what I've learned to do is if I said what I meant and I meant what I said, uh, I go on and I live my life. I don't continue to beat myself about something that I've asked God to forgive me for and that I'm trying to make right. So that's a part of my worship this morning. I was taught to repent daily. Right now, there is a health crisis besides my own and my family. And it's not intentional, but I tend to feel things a little deeper than other people do. So as that person is going through what they're going through, I feel like I feel it. So it made me a little weak today. Not weak minded, not unhopeful, not unprayerful, but just a little weak. But this is what I do when it comes to that. I remind myself that nothing is going to get past me without God's permission. It's not. So whatever you thought you were going to do, or whatever you thought you were going to say, or however you thought you were going to come at me, you may, but the effects of what you had planned for me may not be the outcome of what God has planned for me. I may grow from what you tried to do. I may grow from what you tried to say. And that's my goal, whether it's good, whether it's bad, or whether it's indifferent. If I can't grow through it, then it's something that cannot be a priority in my life. Hello, Mr. William. It's very good to see you this morning. I wanted to come live today and hang out. It was just a little difficult for me to do, but I have a few minutes while I'm marinating my meats. And I'm just going to take this time and tell God I thank Him. I thank Him for everything that He's taken from me. I thank Him for everything that He wants to bring my way. And I thank Him for all these things to come. And I just pray that I'm strong enough to handle what's coming my way, because something's coming. You know how you get that feeling like a storm is coming? You feel it. It's almost like how older people say, "Oh, my joints are starting to ache a little bit. Feels like it's going to rain," or, little different things like that. There is some serious spiritual warfare going on right now within my family. But you know what? I realize that I do not need anyone's permission to claim the victory over it. So I claim the victory over it. I think of music or songs or scriptures, or, you know, going to a prayer, or even if sometimes if I don't even know the words to say, I think of a song that says it all, and I start to hum it and I start to sing it and I start to feel relief. I truly, truly claim relief in what I'm feeling right now. My entire family will not be together on Christmas, and that's okay. But see, there's a reason for the season, and I don't ever want to forget about that. This is the first year that I'm not all caught up in the stores buying a bunch of gifts and going broke and things like that, trying to keep up with the Joneses. I just want to have a very simplistic, very grateful, very peaceful Christmas. And so far, so good. But I'm not going to allow the little aches and pains to make me doubt the power of my creator. Because, see, I was created. I wasn't a mistake. I wasn't an accident. I was created. So when I look at what God has left me with, and as I try to guide them through their lives with their little ones, hopefully I can give them something that they can use. But the main thing I want to give them is faith. This sounds so simplistic, but it's so true. Where there's breath, there's hope. Whew, I just breathe in and I breathe out. So I know that there's hope for whatever situation that's coming my way. I want to be a lot of things. I want to do a lot of things. But the priorities that I set in my life is what's going to change the pace in my life. No one can move me. Sometimes I say what I need to say. Sometimes I do what I need to do. And it's not always right. It's not always right. And that's okay. But I'm here to tell you that this is the time of the night and of the morning where I start to feel my medicine regimen. I'm on a very strict schedule, and should I not prioritize and I not do what I need to do to stay healthy, whether what I want to do is right or whether what I want to do is wrong, it won't get done because I didn't prioritize. Hi, TC, my love. Good morning, Miss Crystal in chat. Season greetings to everyone and your families. Thank you so much. Our family is deep in prayer because I choose to come on my channel and talk about another journey. A very close member of my family is suffering from C19. And what I choose to do about it is I choose to give that to God too. I just found that out today. And to be perfectly honest, I'm a little weak from it. But it just lets me know how important or how unimportant certain things in life are when you don't prioritize. Hello, beautiful. Good morning, beautiful people. Sending you strength and encouragement. I thank you so much. And girl, I always tell you I love this avatar. Yes, this person that is suffering from C19, thank God this is a healthy person in spite of. And I'm praying that the effects of it will not give us a unfavorable outcome. But once you're in prayer, right along with the regimen of your medicine, your diet, I even take my surroundings seriously. So once I do what I need to do to regulate that, then it's time for me to let go and let God. He's an awesome God. He's never taken his hands off of me, and he has not taken his hands off of our family member. This family member is going to be a testimony such as I. I would love to be able to pronounce this word, but I will give it a shot. This Omicron variant is really taking a rapid toll. Please, good people, adhere to all precautions. Yes, this particular strain of C19 is a mutation of a mutation. And from what I'm understanding is that There are people who have been walking around with it and did not know that they had it, which is why I don't take for granted about wearing my masks and using my hand sanitizers and, you know, making sure that I'm safe and making sure that people are safe from me. This is just another miracle waiting to happen at the say so of my creator. I'm going to make a turkey breast. And I had said earlier, well, I shop, but I haven't really been doing a lot of shopping. So I found this turkey breast down in my freezer. And I also found a whole pork loin, Hatfield pork loin. And I didn't want to go through a lot of physical steps when it comes to my meal, but I would like to always put love into my meal. So I'm considering whether I should have yeast rolls or whether I should have cornbread. I know that I'm going to bust open a can of Glory Greens. I don't feel like going through all that. Got to have some cranberry sauce around, some rice and some gravy. And I'm most definitely going to look out for someone less fortunate. I'm not a baller. I don't have a whole lot, but if I can share what I have, I like that feeling that I get when I share. I like that feeling that I get when I say good morning, good afternoon, good night. These little things, if I continue to prioritize them, God will manifest them into bigger and better things. I can't say that it doesn't upset me because as a born nurturer, and I have to say born nurturer because I'm the second oldest of seven. So we were always looking out for each other. I want to make things better. I don't want you to sneeze. I don't want you to cough. I don't want you to run any fevers. I don't want you to feel bad at all. But sometimes that does happen. And just because we believe, or I'm going to keep it on myself, just because I believe in God doesn't mean that things don't happen. Things happen. Things are going to happen. It's how I handle what happens to me. And the way I choose to handle it is to hit my live button, to take it off my mind for a small amount of time. And like I said, even if I can't remember a Bible scripture or a prayer, even when my mind goes completely blank, I know that I can call on the name of Jesus. And I know that yokes will be broken. So that's what I'm doing. Somebody needed to hear that. Somebody needed to hear that there's power in the name of Jesus. There's healing, there's blessings in the name of Jesus. Everybody's not going to feel that way. I'm not an angel. 15 minutes from now, I might be wanting to say or do something completely different. But I know God will indulge me in this moment so that I can thank Him for all the sacrifices that He made in order for my family to be all right, in order for your families to be all right. In order for us to have a meal, in order for us to stay warm, you start looking at your blankets and your quilts and stuff, and you say to yourself, I've had this quilt for the longest time and I just bought two more. Let me wash this quilt up, fold it up, and see if anybody needs a quilt tonight or see if anyone needs a quilt today. Those are the little things that make me feel like the things that were instilled in me as a child were good things. My children and my grandchildren know how to share. They know how to pray. They know who God is. They know what Jesus was sent on this earth for. And that's important to me. But the main thing is, as my pain subsides, as I turn on my music, as I put on TD Jakes, TD Jakes has a YouTube channel. You can subscribe to it, and I get the notifications when he has a new sermon that's come up, and I listen attentively. I'm not looking to compare my situation with anyone's situation. What I'm looking to do is I'm looking for that glimmer of hope. Whereas before I listened to it, I almost didn't have it. But I'm very hopeful. I love the fact that if I want to make something from scratch, I can make it from scratch. If I want to go out to dinner, I can go out to dinner. You know, these things mean a lot. But what means more to me is not how full I can get and sit back and just be a glutton. It's the fact that I can get full. And if there's anyone who would like to share in my meal, they're more than welcome. I would like to know not necessarily where humanity is, because I know it's here. I just would like to know why I don't see more of it. There are so many different walks of life of people who come on YouTube and who are on social media and who cross my path. And we talk about things that I may feel like it's not that important. But to them, it was very important. So that made a difference in my day as well as theirs. The word for me this year is believe. I will never stop believing that God loves me. I will never stop believing that the love he has given me for you will go away. But I do believe that he has gave me the gift of common sense. And I'm not going to throw away my common sense in order to get along with people or get through things. My cancer numbers are lower. And that's why I wanted to come on as well, because I wanted to let you guys know that I made a conscious decision to take a YouTube break. And when I made that conscious decision, things just started dogpiling. And it's like, where am I going to get all this energy from? Where am I going to get these solutions from? How am I going to fix this? How am I going to make it better? Well, it's really not for me to make it better. It's for me to believe that my creator will make it better through people. And that's what's been happening. So if you find it in your heart, in your mind, maybe a forethought, maybe an afterthought, remember my family and I in prayer. Because C-19 is no joke. It's no joke at all. I've seen some very severe cases, and I've seen some not so severe cases. I've seen whole households affected by this. Hey, boss lady. I've seen whole households affected by this. But right now, as I'm getting my food and stuff together, I am used to living on a lower floor, and it's usually cooler down there. But because I'm on a higher floor, it's really hot. So I'm pacing myself. There's a miracle that's going to be performed because I, myself, or someone in this chat, or someone within the sound of my voice believes with me that a miracle is about to happen. I believe that Christmas Day is more than just receiving. It's also about giving. I think about different things like, I don't know, might be a little corny to you guys, but when I think about soul food and I think about the Sundays that they get together and how everybody comes together and makes their little special meal, and at the end of all the hard work you see your harvest, and you watch the babies as they're eating, and they don't want to wait until it cools off because it looks and they know it's going to taste so good they want to eat it right now, and you have to remind them to blow it. And the little candy canes I get so tired of looking at every year, let there not be a candy cane and somebody's going to ask for it. The hams, the turkeys, the pot roasts, the homemade mashed potatoes and corn and greens, and all those different foods. Yes, it's food, but it's called soul food because it's food for your soul. And once you start to eat and you look at each other and you ask each other how you're feeling, how was your day, and this tastes really good this year. Did you add something different? And it's just not the way it used to be. And it's somewhat sad because our babies will not be able to experience that carefree those carefree ingredients that we used to use in our food, but now we have to watch our labels. And it's good to have organic, but a lot of times organics are very expensive. And again, that goes along with the prioritizing. How important is it to you? Just Blaze says 100, 100, right on target. The first time I please excuse me. The first time I caught I caught it, I was down for 2 weeks, but I was eating like crap. Hardly any nutrition value in my food and drinks. But 70% of my family caught this last variant. But we've been immune, building through food and vitamins. None of us have been sick over 48 hours. Good old fashioned bone broth is a beast. Okay, now this is another thing that happens when I hit the live button. Excuse me, guys. This is another thing that happens when I hit the live button. You learn things, and I will receive it in the spirit that is given. They actually sell something called bone broth in the grocery store. Now, years ago, you would just make your food and you would cook it down and you would take the essence or the bone broth from your food and you would put it away to make your soups and the different things that you sip on for, your sore throats and your body aches and things like that. And bone broth has a lot of nutrition in it. There are people who cook with bone broth. And when I first heard of it, it sounded so weird. But all you have to do is do your research and you'll find the nutritional value of bone broth. Bone broth by itself, to me, I cannot sip it. I have to fix it up a little bit. But when I first started my journey, I was told to sip on some bone broth. Now, I'm not going to lie, I did not stick to that regimen because I didn't really care for it. But what I did was I was able to cook it down and I was able to add a few things to it. And I just sat there and I just sipped on it. Like if you go and make you a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, I would just make a cup of bone broth and would just sit and watch television and just sip on it. And there are a lot of nutritional properties with that. Just Blaze, I appreciate you bringing that to the forefront. And for those who will listen, that is something that you truly, truly could use, especially during these winter months when it comes to the vitamin nutrition of healing properties. It's like, okay, I have a sore throat. First thing I think of is some tea, some lemon, and some honey. But see, I like to use the honey with the honeycomb in it. To me, that is the purest form of honey. You can also or you could go online, or you could go to the drugstore online, or you could go actually into the drugstore. And you can let them know what your symptoms are. And sometimes they can actually recommend things to you to make you feel better. I know that when I make my teas, I love to add, how do you say the word? Turmeric. Turmeric. It is a spice, but I cannot use that spice right now because it interferes with my medicine regimen. But it doesn't mean that I can't recommend it to someone else. There's also there's also something that I would like to recommend, and it's called echinacea. Echinacea is something that you take for the first onset of cold. Hi, Yamin, sweet pea. Oh yeah, baby. Can't forget the mac and cheese. Um, First onset of cold. And echinacea is something that you don't take every day, but it does help build the immune system. Your magnesium has a lot to do with your bone health. Uh, what happened here, baby? Yes, Yamin, at the earliest symptoms, correct. Just Blaze said, talking to boss lady, she said, okay, I gotta have the mac and cheese. I'm a bad girl. um, when you mention mac and cheese, everybody has their own little flow of how they make their mac and cheese. Now, I have a sister who makes a recipe that she got from the church, and she uses cream of mushroom soup. It's very good, but I tried to make it and it just didn't pan out for me. But there is a content creator on YouTube who makes mac and cheese. And I'm telling you, well, he actually uses cast iron pots. And there was a mac and cheese recipe that was passed down to him through his family. And as he became older, he went and he, tweaked it a bit, made it his own. And to look at that mac and cheese, the way it cooks up and the way it blends and the way it browns, and you can almost taste what your mac and cheese is about to give when you're looking at it. And I use that recipe trying to see, I'm actually trying to pull it up. And it's very, very, very good. Now there's a cheese, okay. It's called the Ultimate 5 Cheese Macaroni and Cheese. Let me see. The name of the content creator is No Worries, Boss Lady. No worries at all. Um, the name of the content creator is The Culinary Fanatic. And sometimes what I'll do is there's a recipe that traditionally you love to have on the table, but sometimes you want it to have like a little different taste to it, just a little bit, a little something different. And I've always wanted to be one of those type of moms or nanas that when my dish gets out on the table, you already know what it's giving because I made it. So as I was watching this guy make this mac and cheese, I was listening to all the different types of cheeses that he was putting in there. And my thing is, just because we don't do it the exact same way doesn't mean that we're not still trying to achieve that same goal, which is a comfort food that everybody looks forward to. Mac and cheese. Can't get away from that. So the cheese that he uses in there, one cheese I don't use. Turmeric, yes. The cheese that I don't use in there is Gouda, and he uses Gouda cheese. And I've never tasted Gouda cheese. I don't know how it tastes. It may be delicious, actually, but it just doesn't seem like something that I wanted to try. Maybe one day I'll do it exactly like he did it, you know, just to see how it turns out. But a lot of people don't put egg in their macaroni and cheese. A lot of people do. There are some people who make a roux, and that's like a southern type of thing where you almost make like a cheese cream sauce of melting down the cheeses that you use. And it's very important. I didn't realize it until I made a couple of mistakes one year that it's very important that you make your macaroni al dente. What is al dente? It means that don't cook your macaroni too long, just enough so it has a little chew to it. Um, as I went to add the sauce and sprinkle my cheese with the layers, toward the end, the gentleman put the egg like right in the middle of his mac and cheese. And I'm like, well, that's a weird way to do it. Just because it's different, it may be really good. Just try it. It browned up so pretty, and the cheese that I used instead of Gouda was I used fresh Parmesan. And that little punch of Parmesan set my macaroni and cheese apart from a lot of different macaroni and cheeses that were there. So that's one ingredient I choose to keep. So if they say, "Oh well, we're gonna make some bananas mac and cheese," now the first thing they're gonna think of is don't forget the little Parmesan that she puts in there. And those are the type of things that really let me know that for that particular day, nothing else was on my mind that was more important. I want them to be proud of what they do, whether they make a mistake or whether they don't make a mistake. The fact that you tried, and we're there to support you and love you through it until you get your recipe tweaked to the way you want your recipe tweaked. So I'm going to put it in here. Let me see something, guys. Just give me a second. Yeah, the Culinary Fanatic, and it's a mac and cheese dish. So, yeah, just go on YouTube and look it up, and it's really, really good. It's really good. Um, a lot of shortcuts I use more now so than I used to. There are people who grade their cheese by hand. That's not something that is comfortable for me. I like my cheese already grated. But then you have people who call it a labor of love. So my grandmother, my father's mother, she made the best mac and cheese on earth. I've never met anybody to make mac and cheese like she does. And she never does it the same way every time, but it always tastes the same. And I've asked her, where do you get your cheese from? And what she tells me is she goes to, where they have well, I don't know where you're from, but we say lunch meat. But when you go to get your lunch meat sliced and stuff, they have cheese ends where you slice up your cheese and there's the end of the cheese and they put it to the side. And at the end of the day, they have like a container of a bunch of cheese ends. So she takes the cheese ends and she makes her roux. And it's that bubbling, crunchy, brown topping that you get on it. It's no other feeling like it. That's one of my favorite comfort foods, mac and cheese. Uh, Let me see this. I do a lot of fat girl dance every time mac and cheese is on the menu. But you know what? It takes so little to make us happy these days, Why not? Why not? Um, I also learned through YouTube. My mom used to make this dessert for us, and it's called funnel cake. And you know how you go to the fair and you get the cake that and they put it in the hot grease and it looks like pancake batter and you squiggle it around and you could use all different types of I'm walking around a little bit. You can use all different types of funnel cake. You have some that use red velvet. You have some that use just regular plain funnel cake, and they may add a few spices to it, a little apple, a little cinnamon, little different things like that. And you flip it over, and it's a real squiggly type of cake, and it's warm and it's soft and you put powdered sugar on it. Some people take and put they put fruit on it. Very, very good. Very good. Crystal, stop by to give support. Happy holidays. Getting ready for Xmas Eve. I'm Jim. Bye, everyone. Miss Alfreda, I thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you. I love all of your input, and you're one of those type of people who do not have a problem giving a comment. And I feel that when you give your comments, you give a part of yourself, and it's not something that you're doing to hurt anyone. Sometimes you get excited when you give comments because it's like, oh, I'm glad she said that, or I'm glad he said that. I was just thinking about that. I had that on my mind the other day. That's what the live button does for me. It brings different thoughts and ideas to me that I normally wouldn't have in front of my mind, but once I see it, it opens up the floodgates and I start talking about other things. And you're one of those people who bring out great ideas, or you give me another perspective, another way of looking at things, and it helps me to not necessarily stick to the decision that I've made, but it allows me to explore other avenues, and I may try something I normally wouldn't have tried and liked it very much. So thank you so much, Miss Alfreda. I thank you so much. If it's all right with you, you are more than welcome to come over here and hang out, because all we want to do is kick back and have a good time. Good morning, Unique. Peace and blessings, all kings and queens. Now, young lady, why are you up? Let me get my belt. Now see what I'm talking about. The reason why I'm up is because I wasn't feeling so great. So I just started prioritizing some things and talking out loud and, getting some great ideas for what I would like to do today for my meal. And there's one thing that I know for a fact that I'm not going to change, and that's busting open a can of Glory Greens. I'm going to do that. Now, don't get me wrong. I know how to pick out greens in the store, rip them up, wash them real good, soak them, but I don't want to do all that physical stuff this year. So I started talking about, you know, some things that were on my mind. And as a result of that, some great ideas were coming up. Yes, this is Unique. This is my sister. I love her so much. She said, peace and blessings, boss lady. Now, see, Unique, you're one of those people that I know that if you're awake right now, your kitchen has food all up and through it because you're getting ready to make a meal. Even if you're not at home, you're getting ready to put your foot in something. And don't deny it. If I could just get a hold of one of Jay's cheesecakes, I would be fine. I believe that someone is going to make a sweet potato pie today from scratch for me. I believe that that's going to happen. I was going to cheat. You haven't cooked anything? Oh, Lord have mercy. Hell hath freezed over tonight. This lady right here, when you're talking about food, this is the real life Medea, even down to the heels and the heat. Now, this lady can burn. And I'm going to tell you, I haven't had not one morsel of her food, but the way she talks and the way she cooks, that day's coming sooner than later. Trust me. But the weird thing is, like, I've been keeping up with my herbal teas, but for some odd reason, I have been sneezing and sneezing and sneezing. And I don't like that because that lets me know that that's nothing but a soundtrack to a cold. So I'm going to stay on that. These kids work my nerves. They grab Boston Market for today and tomorrow. Nothing, not a stitch. Okay, we'll see. We'll see. Let that beautiful brown-eyed little boy say he wants some of grandma's this or some of grandma's that. And you're going to be right out there making it. What are you cooking, Blaze? Did you leave, Mr. William? And I know Boss Lady is over there doing some damage. I know she is, her and Spunky. But yeah, that's as far as I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with my turkey breast, some rice gravy, some greens. I don't know whether I've decided to make the yeast roll or whether I've decided to make the cornbread. And that's about it. I'm leaving Sunday. Not even he getting food cooked. Yeah, you're leaving Sunday. Okay. Okay. Well, I want you to be safe. Have a safe trip. Make sure you get plenty of rest. Stay hydrated. And for goodness sakes, please, I know you already are, but utilize your hand sanitizers and your double or triple masks. I was saying that a close family member of mine was diagnosed with C19, and our family is in prayer about that. And as a result of that, I wanted to make sure that when I went out to the kitchen to make a plate of food, that, there was something out there that I liked, something I could eat for a couple of days. I was talking about this, I was talking about this recipe from the Culinary Fanatic with this macaroni and cheese. Okay, I don't know who this person is, but I'm going to indulge you. Okay? As long as you remain respectful, it's fine. Okay, Just Blaze just gave me a little something. We're doing a full traditional spread this year. Okay, girl. Turkey, ham, dressings, greens, yam, mac and cheese, cranberry sauce, sweet potato pie. Baby. Baby, baby, baby. And you know what? I'm the type of person that after making my food, I'll probably go in the kitchen and want a hamburger when I'm hungry. Does that make sense? You don't have to answer that right now. I'll answer for you. No. But what I had for dinner last night, uh, I had some beef yak. I had some linguine noodles, and I had already made a pot roast, and it was in the back of my freezer wrapped, the back of my refrigerator wrapped. And I sliced it up, and I seasoned it and everything with some gravy, and I took it and put it on top of my noodles with some soy sauce. And sometimes you could use it with raw onions. Sometimes, it's optional. And I'm telling you, once I ate it, I got the itis and I didn't hear my phone ring. I didn't get any notifications. My girl was on live kicking it with a steel toe boot. And I was like, oh my gosh, that food must have put me out. It's a bot. They dropped that in everybody's chat. Okay. All right. Thanks for making me aware of it. I don't remember who I was talking to about this, but there was a lady that I knew years back, and what she does is she bakes cakes year round, and then she wraps the cakes and she puts them down in her freezer. So when her holidays come, she pulls out these cakes and she icens the cakes and stuff, and it's like they're so fresh and they're so moist, and it looks like she's been baking all day. But that's what she does. She takes the cakes and she bakes them and she freezes them. I've never tried it before, but I think that would be a good idea. Okay. That person was harmless in the chat. Some family issues. Hit if I need to come back in the chat. I actually will if I need you to, but I doubt very much because right now, where I am right now is I'm trying to take a little break and I'm just going to slow walk my way around this apartment. I've got to get some I've got to get some shoes. Uh it's getting really cold outside and my feet are very important to me. And when I get ready to go outside, I need a good shoe so that when I get in that shoe, whether it's a boot or whether it's a shoe or sneaker, I need to be nice and warm and, fit me very well and stuff like that. So I'm going to be looking for a shoe today. But I thank God I won't be running back and forth in a grocery store trying to find food, thank God. But I'm asking for each and every one within the sound of my voice. If there's a family or if there's a person that when you make your food, if you make a little extra or you have some left, there are some people who don't accept cooked food. It doesn't mean that they're ungrateful. It's just that they have the right to do that. But there are some people who do accept cooked food and cups of coffee or make a big pot of soup or anything, and you have people that are living on the street and you could just hand them a cup of soup with a lid on it and a spoon, a little piece of bread, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, or, just something, just to give back. I love you and I will call you very soon. Stay warm. Yes, sis, I will. I love you more. You're a very important part of my life, and I hope I never ever pass up an opportunity to tell you that. I went into a praise and worship with TD Jakes this morning. Uh, I subbed to his channel on YouTube, and sometimes you just need to hear that inspirational word, you know, that puts you on that path and reminds you of what's really important, of what the reason for the season actually is. And you I think me myself, I think about how I can only compare myself to myself. And I remember times where I didn't have what everybody else had. And I could see that they had enough to share with me, they just chose not to. But if it was meant for me to get what I needed that day, God always provided. I used to volunteer for a company that was called Phil Abundance. And what we do is we would give away fresh fruits and vegetables once a week. And I was telling someone a story. Oh, thank you, Just Blaze. Thank you so much. She says, I'm in. Thank you. I'll definitely go help the community. Thank you so much. I'm telling you, the feeling that you feel inside is better than gold. It really is. And we had a tractor trailer full of turkeys. And the volunteers get their turkey first. And there were people in line and they picked up their turkey. They were able to get some bread. They were able to get something sweet, some potatoes, some onions, something just to make a nice little meal for that day. And after we finished, we still had some left over. So the volunteers were able to get another turkey, and then we were able to pass out another turkey to other people or people who were still coming. Excuse me, guys. So by the time everything was over, I have one of those shopping carts. I love my shopping cart. I don't care what y'all say. It's a pull shopping cart. And I had 5 turkeys in my shopping cart. And I was on my way to the bus stop. And this lady, she was coming top speed with this little baby. And she said, oh, is it all gone? I said, oh, you missed it? You didn't get here on time? And she said, no. I said, did you get a turkey? She said, no. I said, here you go. You can have one of these. She said, I can? Thank you. Thank you. Like, I can't believe you're just reaching in your cart giving me a turkey. Because, see, a lot of times in situations like that, people will sell those turkeys. They even had pies and cakes and It's according to what the grocery stores, volunteer to make their contribution to our fill abundance is what we have to offer. It's never the exact same thing. So I was giving turkeys out at the bus stop. And I was so happy. I was just so happy doing that. Just Blaze says, the universe told me you had a message for me today. Thank you, Crystal. Oh, you are welcome, beautiful. You are so welcome. Yes. You have people who probably have had the same clothes on for weeks and weeks and weeks, and they feel like nobody even wants to look at them. Sometimes eye contact, when you're talking to a person, means more to them as well. And I'm looking forward to the Christmas season. I am. I'm looking forward to it. Although I will be spending it here by myself, it's safer for me. I really don't need to be in a lot of crowds of people. And still, I prioritize. I thank God. I remember the sacrifice that Jesus made for me and my family and families all over the world to be able to be forgiven, and to have everlasting life. And that's just the way I worship. You don't have to worship the same, but it's just what I wanted to share with you this morning. And even if you don't do anything but just bake a bunch of cookies, and put them in a food storage bag and pass them out, you know, just a little something, just a little give back means so much. I also saw a recipe on YouTube where you can make your own egg rolls. And I would think to myself, I don't know how that would really turn out because I want my egg rolls crunchy, I want the good stuff inside. But when you think about it, you can make an egg roll with practically anything. So to have a few of the wrappers in the back of the refrigerator, and you chop up some turkey and, a couple of carrots and some cabbage or a few onions or however you like, you know, what you like inside your egg rolls. And you go ahead and you dip them and you eat them and they're really, really good. It's not always the traditional. It's not always the traditional that makes the memories. And when you have younger people, they may not say much, but they're watching you. They're watching. Why does she always put flour down on the counter before she puts her bread dough down? Why is she always, what is that brown thing she uses? Oh, that's a rolling pin. I mean, these things seem so simple, but these children are watching and they want to learn. They want to be taught. One of the simplest things to make is fried chicken. But if you change two or three of those spices, now this is something I never heard of before. Maybe someone else has heard of it. It's called smoked paprika. I've never heard of smoked paprika before. And someone made some fried chicken and it had smoked paprika on it. And I'm like, well, I really don't like hot foods too much. I don't do the hot poops. That's just not my ministry. But that it actually gave it such a different taste. You have, these are just some move around a little bit ideas that you can do on YouTube besides all the roasting and gagging. They have cooking channels where they show you how to barbecue from scratch. Now, I know how to barbecue from scratch, but this one particular guy had marinated his barbecue spare ribs in apple juice. And I'm like, apple juice? That doesn't sound right. And it's almost like, well, my mom ain't do it that way, so that means it's not supposed to be done that way. Well, not necessarily. So I watched his event from beginning to end, and his ribs were fall apart off the bone. They were nice and brown and tender, and he had homemade sauce and all these different things, and it was just another suggestion that I could use to do something different for different tastes. Yes, ma'am. I watch a lot of cooking channels. So I saw it, but never used it. It's very good. I actually tried the uh the apple juice. It was very good. I never knew that you brined turkey and brined chicken and meats and things like that. Like when you go to make it and you put your seasonings on it and then you let it sit overnight or something like that. And I also love those channels where they smoke the meats. Ugh, you can almost smell it through the television. So that's basically where I am right now. I'm counting my blessings, and the devil wants me to feel so defeated, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Left up to him, I wasn't supposed to be here, y'all. I was not supposed to be here. And a couple of tips. One of my grandsons, he likes to cook. And when he turned 13, he said, I asked him what did he want to do for his birthday. I'm thinking, oh, he wants to go to an arcade, he wants to play a game. He said, I want to make a turkey breast. I said, you really do? And he said, yeah. On that particular day, turkey breasts were on sale. So we went and got the turkey breast. Now, everybody doesn't like to touch raw meat. And that was his thing. He didn't like touching the raw meat. But he liked sprinkling the seasonings on it. So he remembered the different seasonings that I used, and he sprinkled them on, and I massaged them in, and we wrapped it, and we let it sit in the refrigerator for a couple of hours. Now that he couldn't understand. So that's where we went into what marinade is. Now everybody marinates differently. There are some people who marinate in mayonnaise. I don't care for mayonnaise. It's not my thing. I don't like the way it tastes on meat. I don't like the way it tastes on bread. Just not feeling it. But when you run into a marinade that you really, really like and you stick with that marinade, that's where you get your signature dishes from. So I find that when it came to him, he liked the old fashioned way of making a turkey breast. I'm thinking, let's just wrap it in some foil or put it in an oven bag and, you know, throw our little juice in there and couple things, couple bay leaves, and just let it cook. And when we see that the timer has popped out, let's brown it and let's eat it. But he wanted to use the plastic bubble part where you squeeze it and then you put the you marinate you not marinate you baste the turkey breast that way. So it took longer, but the concentration look that was on his face as he was marinating the chicken breast that he seasoned, and when it came time to eat, I could notice how he was looking at other people to see how they liked the taste of his, turkey breast. And those are the type of things that I love to celebrate. Now, I have enlisted two young people, and they're going to make me some Christmas cupcakes. I want a yellow cake with buttercream icing and the red and the green, what do you call them? The sugar crystals that you shake on there. I don't necessarily care for the jimmies or those little hard silver balls. I don't like those that much. So my ideas are very simplistic, but when you look at how much love they put into it and you look at the concentration face that they have when they're shaking the crystals on there because they want it on there just right, and those are the type of things that really warm my heart. I would rather you put your money in a little bank account so that, when you need books or, you see a little something that you may have earned according to your grades and stuff like that, you can go and get it. And as for me, I like things very simplistic. I'm not a high maintenance type of person, believe it or not. I'm really not. One year, this young girl, she was pregnant, and I had made this cake. And I'm just telling you, I just was tired. So they were they were little stencils. The stencils were like stars or like Christmas tree bulbs or candy canes, and so I would take and shake the crystals and put on the cake, a little Christmas design or something. And I'm telling you, she ate that cake darn near herself. And she said the cake was so simplistic and it was so good. I just could not understand. Um, Normally, I would want something, a bit more flamboyant, you know, and I don't know. I just haven't been that type of person. I may decide, excuse me, guys. I may decide that I would like to make some apple pie or some cherry pie. But my thing is, I don't know how to make pie crust. I've looked at all the different tutorials on how to make pie crust. My mom makes great pie crust, yams, all that stuff. They're great at that. I'm not. So this is just a little tip. If there's anyone that is challenged like I am when it comes to pie crust, I go and I get the regular store brand pie crust. For some odd reason, um, I don't care for the Pillsbury pie crust because it has an aftertaste to it. To me, it does. And it may not for others, but it does for me. But I just use the regular pie crust. It has two shells in it. And I keep the shells very frozen. So once you flavor your cherry pie crust or your apple pie crust, I would tend to sprinkle a little cinnamon, a little nutmeg, little different things in it, so that the apples will pop. And a little brown sugar. So I would take the top of the pie crust and flip it over to make sure that it's sealed all the way around the edges. I would make little slits in the top of the pie crust and I would brush it with egg, and then I would sprinkle it with a little sugar, cinnamon, little nutmeg, whatever it is that you use, on a norm for your to flavor your um apples. And once it bakes, the pie crust settles and it settles on the apples and it actually looks like one of those old country homemade apple pies. And I said, all right, I done found my niche. But one year my husband came in the house and he had all these, Lord bless his heart, he had all of these Granny Smith, which were the green ones, baskets of apples. I said, what are we going to do with all this? So what I did was I went to the store. I got me a bunch of pie crusts, kept them frozen. I used my apple core. Um, they're not that cheap though. Those apple cores are not that cheap. Um, you push them down on the apple, and it cores the apple automatically, and it sections the apple off. And all you need to do is just slice that layer of skin off of the apple, or you can make the apple thinner or as big as you like for it to be. There are some people who will take their apples and core them and peel them, and they season them in the pot, and then they pour it into their pie crust. It's according to what your comfort zone is. And what I did was I made lemonade out of lemons. And I turned all those baskets of apples into Christmas gifts. And I made pies. I had pies on the table, pies in the kitchen, pies on the stove, pies on the ironing board. I mean, it was pies everywhere. And when they came over, you could smell it. It's like, it smells so good in here. And I'm like, Merry Christmas to you and your family. Hand them apple pie. And that's how I got through that Christmas. But I want the quality of my heart and the genuineness that I try to give something to be received that way, but it doesn't always happen that way. But it is how I set out to do. And I was able to brush it with the egg, and it was all nice and shiny and pretty on top and crunchy and flaky. And I was like, okay, I think I can do this. So that's what I do sometimes. Or if anybody has ever worked with Bisquick, you can do the same with Bisquick. Um, I had made peach peach cobbler, peach yeah, it was peach cobbler, apple cobbler, and cherry cobbler. So what I would do was I would roll out the dough and place it strategically, on the dish, and then as you bake it, you sprinkle it and you brush it, and you make it nice and shiny and pretty, and it just looks like you put your foot in it. And that's just the way we were raised. That's just the way we were raised. I mean, my mom fed 7 kids every single day. And God only knows how she did it, but I had to learn. And when I learned, oh, hi, Deborah. Um, yeah. And once I learned, I started passing it on. And sometimes, like if you're watching television or whatever, or you might be getting ready to watch something good on YouTube or a good movie or whatever. And it's like, I would like to have some apple, apple, what did I just say? The apple thing. And I just rolled out the dough and did my apples and put it on in there and put it on out and had me a nice size scoop of ice cream with it. And, you know, feels like I went somewhere. I didn't go anywhere but to the kitchen. But when you realize what you have in your kitchen, like the basics, make sure you have your flour, your sugar, your eggs, your butter, your milk, your egg. I said eggs. Um, Things like that. And, a lot of times if I get apples or I see apples, I don't always buy them because I know somewhere down in my refrigerator there are some apples. I even saw where a guy he cored the apple, he peeled it, he put a brown sugar mixture in the center of the apple, and he wrapped it in pie crust and he fried it. And I'm like, now why would he fry it? Now, it's probably going to take a long time to cook because that's a whole apple. But to be perfectly honest, by the time he got finished and put a little scoop of ice cream on there and took his little spoonful, the apple was nice and soft. And I just love learning new ways of making, simplistic meals. I love that. Has anybody ever been a recipient of a Pollyanna? When people get me for a Pollyanna, I don't know why they get so upset, like I'm not going to like what they give me. To me, when it comes to a gift, it means that you took time out of your day or your night and you went and you looked around a store or your living room or your cabinets or whatever, and you said to yourself, you know what? I think Crystal would like that. And the fact that you thought of me was great enough. But I can't stand it when you have those Pollyannas where people want to get big stuff and they'll say, oh, well, $50 is not really a lot of money for a Pollyanna. Oh, yes, it is. We can find something $20. Why do we have to have a $50 Pollyanna? This one got 4 kids. This one got 2 kids. You know, look at how much money they got to put out for a Pollyanna. So I've seen Pollyannas where they just go ahead and they give you a Visa gift card or uh, a gift card to a store they know that you like or things like that. But I like things where you do it from the heart. And it really does mean a lot to me when things come from the heart. And sometimes that's not a good thing. But that's just something that God hasn't taken from me yet. I'm just one of those people who genuinely are flattered that you thought of me. So that's where that goes. I had a conversation with this young lady. I mean, I really admire her. And we were talking. And what happened was the question was if you saw someone and their slip was hanging, would you pull them to the side and tell them? A lot of people don't know what a slip is, but back in the day, people used to wear them for modesty so that you can't see through your clothes. It's more like an undergarment. But would you pull someone to the side and tell them that their slip is hanging? Or would you just watch them walk around and, you know, feel like their slip is not hanging, that they're fine, and you see that their slip is hanging? Would you tell them? Yeah, I would. Because I would want someone to tell me. I don't know. I guess it's just that simple for me. Um, I'm not one of those type of people who sit back and I'm jealous of you because you have something that I don't have. I will always have something that you don't have, and that's me. So there's no need for that. We all have our own originality, but to see that another person's slip is hanging and all you have to do is say, "Excuse me, your slip is hanging." Well, I got a little pin right here in my purse, you could pin it to the side, that way it won't slip. I mean, that to me, that means a lot. I feel good about stuff like that. But then you have people who may not receive it that way, like mind your damn business. Who asked you? Or you could have a female or a male, but mainly females, who may have gotten a spot on the back of their clothes and they're just walking around, thinking life is sweet. And you got this big spot in the back of your clothes. And nobody has said anything to you all day. They're just sitting there murmuring, whispering, and talking about you instead of pulling you to the side and letting you know you have like a little spot on your skirt. They may say, "Oh, thank you so much." And they may be able to catch the spot and get it out. Or they may be able to put a jacket on or anything. It's like, I don't know. I want my girls to look good. That's the way I feel about it. And by being a big sister, that's just something that's embedded in me. That's embedded in me. When my brothers are on their way out the door, I'm looking. I'm making sure one of them is not peasy. Brush the back of your head, tuck your pants in, tuck your shirt in, such and such. It's just something that we did and it comes very natural. But you do have people who have a problem with you telling them that kind of stuff. So you have to think that out a little bit. Some people might take it the wrong way. Like, oh, you trying to talk about me? No. I just would rather you not walk around with a white skirt and a red spot. I don't know. That's just the way I feel. I will tell them. I would want someone to tell me what's going on here just Blaze. I remember those days. Had to tie a sweater around the waist. Girl, I know that's right. I feel Poe. You feel Poe. Mm-mm. Especially if you're raised like back in the day raised. Now these days, you don't wear no slips and stuff. They rarely wear slips. They rarely wear bras. But me myself, I think I would be less than a woman if I didn't pull another woman up on something like that. I do. Some people hate the truth. True. Some people do hate the truth. Blaze say, yes, tell me. Hey, Deborah. Yeah, I would want somebody to tell me. The only thing that's hard for me to do is if I'm sitting and I'm eating something and it really, really, honestly, and truly does not agree with me, and you're staring me in my face for my reaction to the food. Mm, that's difficult. Benji, Benji, Benji. Hey, baby. I miss you. I don't know what kind of candle I'm going to light in here today. I think I'm going to. I've been burning some stress reliever candles, and I'm kind of tired of smelling them. So I think I want to burn something else. I think, what is it called? Lemon cookie or lemon something. I think I want to burn that. Everybody welcome Benji to the room. She's one of the content creators who I've grown to have a very good attachment with. She's always looking out, seeing how I'm doing, and I do my best to see how she's doing when she's up and out. But great people. Great people. Yeah, it's very hard for me to play off food if it's nasty. It's very hard to play it off. I don't do that so well. Even when it comes to even when it comes to like the little how am I? I'm good, binge. Um, I was going through a little pain later earlier this evening. I wasn't really able to hang out like I wanted to hang out with my girl. But I stayed as long as I could, and then a little bit before that, I I found out that a close member of my family was diagnosed with C19. And the thing about it is that the person is vaccinated, booster and all. So they were saying that the strain that they're dealing with now is a mutation of the mutation. So I wanted to make sure that I stay prayed up. I wanted to make sure that everything I turned over to God yesterday worked just fine. And I want to turn this over to Him as well. So it'll be, once again, just fine. Uh, thank goodness that this particular person is very athletic and doesn't like to stay still. So that's somewhat of a good thing. But you still get that butterfly in your stomach. But it's okay. I'm human. I do know that nothing's going to come through me or anyone I love unless it goes past God first. So He's already okayed it. So whether it's a good outcome or a bad outcome, I came into my morning praising God, and the way I'm going to come out of it is praising God. So that's what I'm going to do. Praise Him right through these circumstances. I think even the scientists don't know exactly what they're dealing with, what they are dealing with. Uh-huh. I agree with that. I agree with that as well. And most definitely, everyone, you may not think that it's very important, but excuse me, but to utilize the masks and the sanitizers are very important. Even when you're shopping in the grocery store, you're not the only one that picked up that can to see how many ounces is in it and how much it costs and all that kind of stuff. I'm not saying go out and be all paranoid and allow the devil to rule your life with fear. I'm saying, just use some common sense. Just use some common sense. Benji, I'm really happy to see you. I really am. I haven't been doing a lot of shopping. Not really. I can't even call what I've been doing shopping because usually I'm out there wrecking some stuff. But I found this website called dailydeals.com, and every day they have some type of deal on the website. And I ended up getting let me see. I ended up seeing on dailydeals.com. It was a Chromebook. It was a 11-inch Dell Chromebook. It was refurbished. It was $99. So I got two of them and I received them in 3 days. They also had telephones that were on sale and different things like that. And, you know, the delivery was great. I had no problem with the packaging. It wasn't damaged. And I actually started recommending the website to other people. Yes, ma'am. We gotta stay vigilant. It's a new normal. You know what, Blaze? I have been saying that, and I think people were getting tired of hearing me say that, but it is a new normal. They had to destroy 1 million doses of expired medicine. Wow. Wow. And a lot of times they have it where you can go to your drugstore and you can make appointments for your vaccines. But see, they like to take it by appointment only because of just what you said. If only one person is getting vaccinated that day, there's more than one dose in that bottle. So they want to try and use that entire bottle, So if they can get you in on an appointment where there are quite a few people, that's good for them. If not, then they have expired medicine. This place said no one tasting the fruit while walking through the fruit market. Man, that was my pleasure. That was my pleasure. But I'm not gonna lie to you. I'll find a way to do it. I do. I'll find a way to do it. I'll take a because I don't like sour grapes. And when it comes to that, I like to make sure that, they're nice and sweet and they're firm. So I'll take something out of my purse and wipe it off and I have to taste my fruit. I'm sorry. I can't do that. I have to. Oh, okay. Still here, honey. I planned your guy, Frankie, and wishing and holding back tears, but God gave me happy tears because of my friend is here now. That's good. That's good. That's really good. And see, that's the type of stuff that I like to think about during the holidays, not how much did you spend on my gift and things like that. Now, there are some gifts that are just ridiculous, and let's just call a spade a spade. What was the thought that counts? Well, what the hell were you thinking? What is this? But it takes a lot for me to come out of character like that. This is utterly the new earth world. Mm-hmm. I agree. Just blaze. That's a good idea. I just gotta prepare. Yeah, I just bring something from my purse and I wipe that little piece of fruit right on down. That little grape. Has anybody ever tried those grapes that taste like cotton candy? Oh my God, they're expensive, but they are so good. So good. If you ever catch them on sale, jump on them. They're good. And the children love them. And that's why they can't have them because I have to hide them. Yeah, Benji saying hi, Mr. William. Yeah, just Blaze said, take a little spray bottle of vinegar water to the fruit market. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Wipe it right on off and go on and taste your fruit. Otherwise, you're going to bring something home that you're not going to like. You are and will always be my rock. Okay, thank you. Just Blaze. I haven't tried them yet, but I'll look for them. Yet they're very good. Oh my gosh. They taste exactly like cotton candy. I never heard of those, and they are delicious. They are so good. I cannot believe I have been on here almost 2 hours just running my mouth. But see, there's a therapeutic value in, talking to people and, getting things off your chest. There's a healthy way to get things off your chest. There is. And I'm not going to say that I always do it in the best way. I'm not going to say that. But going back to the title of my video, I really wasn't feeling so hot, but if I don't prioritize my life, who will? Hi, Bench Thinker. Mr. Williams said hi. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas. Did I see the Gail was in the chat somewhere? If I did and I didn't speak love, I apologize. I may just decide to go ahead and make my turkey breasts and stuff and still end up ordering some oxtails from the Jamaican market. When it comes to oxtails, they're very expensive. And I looked in the store and I just saw four little hunks of oxtail and it was almost $15. I said, oh my gosh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Mr. Williams said happy to all that I've missed in the chat. If there's anyone who spoke to Mr. William in the chat and he missed you, he wants to tell you hello, happy holidays. What are oxtails? Well, oxtails, it's actually, I would consider it a delicacy. Now, a lot of people don't think that the red bucket chitlins and stuff like that are a delicacy, but in a way that they are. In a way they are. Um, it's the tail of the ox that's been stripped, and you cut it up in circles, and you season it very well, and you cook it really slow, and it eats like a very seasoned beef. It makes its own broth and juice, and the meat is very tender, but they can be expensive. I was thinking about, and I said it before, I'll say it again. I don't know. It may end up happening. I don't know. But I wanted to treat myself to an Instapot, and I wanted to put some oxtails in it and cook it down real slow and make some rice and some gravy. And my sister has been talking about it so much. I wish I could surprise her with it, but I'm not in that position right now because, as I told you, they can be very expensive when you buy them from the store. They're too expensive. I saw a package of oxtails with 4 in a pack for $20 here. Yes, very much so. So you know that what I'm saying is definitely true. It actually eats like a very slow cooked piece of beef, but you have to use the right seasonings and you have to cook them long enough or you have wasted your entire time. I love oxtails with noodles. Oh, okay. Blaze said oxtails were expensive before everything else went up. Now I'm scared to look at the price. Yeah, girl. The slow cookers on sale, ShopRite. Yeah, and you know what? I actually I'm actually kicking myself because I saw I actually saw an Instapot in ShopRite and it was $79. And what I should have done was what I usually do. When I see something on sale, either I get one or I get two of them and I put them away. And when the situation presents itself, I just go and I get it. And because I didn't get it, I haven't seen that price since. I was even in ShopRite one time. Well, ShopRite and Fresh Grocer are basically the same thing where I am. Um, I was ordering a hoagie, and they had a television on sale in there. It was a 50-inch television. Uh, it was a smart TV, and it had the hook up to where you could hook up to Google, uh, Hulu, all those different attachments that was built in to the television. And again, like I said, it was 50 inches. And the television was just a little over $300. And I cannot believe that I did not buy that. I cannot believe I didn't buy it. And those are the two sales this year that I've been kicking my butt about that I didn't get. So I have a feeling that once the holidays calms down and once the prices start dropping, I'll find one. I'll find a nice one. But like I said, if you have a taste for oxtails and rice and you know a Jamaican restaurant that you trust and They have like their little platters and stuff that are set up. I may just do that. But right about now, I'm gonna stick to my turkey breast, my rice and my gravy. Bust open my candy corn glory greens with my cranberry sauce. Figure out which one I want to do. The yeast rolls or the cornbread. And I usually like to make something green on the side. Always like to have a green vegetable. Either I do some green beans or some broccoli or some spinach. One or the other. But it was just so crazy. Like, I'm that type of person that when I see something on sale, I just go get it. I'm not a credit card type of person. I'm not a credit type of person. I'm not a pay on time type of person. If it's something that I want, I just go get it and I walk out the store with it. I understand, but the masses are working up. Change is coming. It is. Change is coming. You're right. Usually the price goes down in February because of the new models coming out like a car. Okay. Benji says, yes, plant what you can. Continue to stockpile slowly. Share when you can. Always. I know. I know. My mom, I'm telling you, the best cook next to the best cook, my grandmother and my dad's mom and my mom, those women can burn. And one thing my mom would make is a big pot of soup. And it is something about those big hunks of potato and carrot and celery. And, I think she did, but I'm not sure. I don't know whether she put the pearl onions in them or whatever. But it was one of those soups that tastes so good, you forgot all about it was one of those soups that was breaking a fever or, taking care of a cold or whatever because it was so good. And then you get you a nice piece of garlic bread or some buttered bread. Oh, you get the itis, and that is it. Yes, I got a lot of Christmas return special prices. Okay. Hi, Lola. Displays. I just saw where people walking off jobs. What happened? You saw where people were walking off jobs, living on less and happy. I'm going to tell you something. And I don't mean any harm when I say this. So I pray that you take it in the spirit that I give it. A lot of people try to act like they shop at Neiman Marcus every day, like they wear Jordans every day, like everything they have is top of the name, top of the line name brand, like they drive in Teslas and all this kind of stuff. And in reality, that's not how people really live. I mean, I'm not saying that if you could live that way and you chose to live that way, it's a very high maintenance way of life. But I would rather have enough for me to have a good quality product and be able to share. Whew. Well, today, baking a cake, meatloaf, mashed potatoes with peas and carrots. Simple. Sounds good. Sounds delicious. Benji's like, you know these, yes, I know these things. I know these things must come to pass. Yeah, these things must come to pass. Yes, pearl onions. It's been a long time since I've actually said pearl onions, but I do remember pearl onions. Just blazes like Lola, we're realizing we don't need a lot of things society influenced us to get. I have 2 feet. I don't need 50 pairs of shoes. Okay, girl, tell the truth. Tell the truth. It's a must. Yep, tell the truth. Because and people get caught up in the hype, knowing that you're probably one of those people who live day to day like everybody else. And there's nothing wrong. Me, myself, I like to have at least, I mean, I've owned property before. I have. And it's just not something I'm interested in doing at 57. I'm just not. Now, I support the younger people who want to go out and get them a 30-year mortgage and, things like that. I'll encourage you to continue to work and stay in good health and, you know, you would. As for me going out there trying to jump into real estate and call myself wanting to wear a pair of Jordans every day and designer Birkin bags, come on now. Come on now. Come on. You don't even know where the section of YouTube is where people actually living like that. So stop it. I keep having visions of a spacecraft hovering over the White House. Those demons are in it, but it can't lift off. Hi, Frank Hancock. How are you? Welcome. You can't get it up. Yeah. Lola Green said it's true, Mr. Crothers. Now, since a lot of stuff with the C-19 went down, we used to have this soul food truck. And this soul food truck was called Gigi's. And I'm telling you, this older man was up in that soul food truck, and that's when they had real chicken wings. These chicken wings they got out now, these little mutations of little baby chickens or whatever they call themselves doing. I don't know what they call themselves doing with these chicken wings. And when you finally do get a decent pack of chicken wings, it's like $14. And I'm like, oh no, ma'am. No, ma'am, no, ma'am. I'm okay. I do not need no chicken wings like that. So this soul food truck that we went to, they would fry the fish right there in front of you and everything that you wanted. And while we were sitting and waiting for our fish, of course you had the old guy in there. For some odd reason, he swears I get him this the impression that he has a shot, but he has absolutely no shot. But if that's what gets him up in the morning, then okay. So while we're waiting for our fish, he throws a couple of oxtails on a napkin and a spoonful of rice, and then gives us a plate. And we're sitting there eating oxtails and rice while we're waiting for our fried whiting and our collard greens and our cabbage. And I miss those times. But when that pandemic hit as hard as it did, it changed a lot of ways that we do things. It just changed a lot of ways that we do things. Mr. Williams said, give me a pair of Levi's and New Balance walkers. You know what? I like New Balance sneakers, but for some odd reason, they started looking so bobo-ish. Now, they got some decent pairs of New Balances, but some of them really started to look kind of crazy. I can't find chicken wings in the store. Girl, look, there's this Chinese store we used to go to get our chicken wings. And, excuse me, guys, there's this Chinese store that we used to go to get our chicken wings and, our rice or our combination platters and stuff. And when I ordered it and she told me how much it cost, I said, wait a minute, hold it. I don't ever remember spending that much for no chicken wing platter. She says, no, 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 because chicken wings, they're very hard to find. I said, okay then. Well, how hard is it to find a couple egg rolls? Because I'll do that. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna get caught up in that hype. Where I'm at, we have to the go to the meat house or chicken for chicken wings. Okay, you have to go to the meat house for chicken wings. Okay, they had this spot right, and they had this spot in South Philly, and you could get large chicken wings, and we got them at a really good price because we got tired of people playing around with us. Went and got us a decent deep fryer and everything else. They still started playing too much when it came to these chicken wings. So I'm like, I'm just gonna chill. They're putting a lot of chemicals in chicken to make them look like turkeys. And this is true. This is true. And me myself, I'm not really a dark meat type of person. And lately, that's what's been on sale. Dark meat. So I found these chicken legs. These chicken legs were like huge. And it was a really, really, really good price for them. But I noticed that because I don't buy chicken wings like I used to, I buy a lot of fish, and beef is less expensive than chicken wings. I'm about ready to I'm about ready to get my own grinder and grind my own hamburger and stuff. 30 years in healthcare, see 19 ended it. Mm-mm-mm. I look back at in my shift journals and wonder why I stayed so long. Yeah, girl, I understand. I'm glad you made out okay though. Last year, it was reported that diseased chicken can be sold. Tumors are to be cut out and sold too. I heard that as well. I heard that as well. So again, we have to do our due diligence when it comes to meat. I have some family members who will not eat meat at all, and It's a choice. I'm just not a I'm just not ready to give up meat. But I'm definitely ready should I need to do a lot more investigation on my meat. But I don't know whether it's just me or not. But you know how when you used to buy, I love to buy the Campbell's chunky sirloin burger soup. And the little sirloin burgers, they look like little oblong pieces of hamburger with like the sear marks on it, the grill marks. But it doesn't taste like beef anymore, so I stopped buying it. Certain stuff that's in a can don't taste like meat anymore. But I love my chicken. Yeah, girl. Yes, I love me some chicken. Yes, I remember Mama with that meat grinder fastened to the table and grinding beef and pork. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. To me, it's gotten to that point. And I am ready to start growing my own vegetables, but there are only certain vegetables that I eat. But for my babies, oh, I'll grow them for my babies. That's not a problem. But there are only certain vegetables that I really eat. Even when I get a can of, I used to like the ravioli, the Chef Boyardee ravioli. That doesn't even taste right anymore. Something about chunky soup. It just tastes like a bunch of chunks of something else in it. I don't know what it is, but it ain't meat. So a lot of times I'll end up eating the same things over and over. Or like I said, when I make my turkey breast, I'm probably gonna make it and I'll probably eat it for a couple of days. And I'll end up putting it away. And at one time there were some really beautiful, beautiful, beautiful looking Hatfield pork loins. It was buy one get one free. And I had cooked one, but I forgot I didn't cook the other. So I do have a pork loin in my freezer. So as I go through the freezer, I'll find out, what's in there, what's not in there, what's just taking up space, what's just ice. You never know. Never know. The meats doesn't taste the same. No, love, they don't. So many additives in food, it changes the taste. That's true. Have you ever heard about that stuff back in the day where you add it to your hamburger to stretch it? Not hamburger helper, but it was something that you add to your hamburger to stretch it. It wasn't that good. It wasn't that good. And I didn't end up doing that anymore. Even the hamburger helper be on the jazz. And I'm like, "Oh, I don't remember hamburger helper tasting like this." And I mean, it's not like you're getting an off brand. You're getting a name brand, but like, what is this stuff? I don't know. Well, Lola, Mr. William, Benji, Just Blaze, Boss Lady New Jersey, Frank, I believe Gail was in here. I'm not sure. Deborah, I saw her. I saw Lola. TC was in here. Just be very careful when it comes to your food and your consumption of your food. Uh, Bigger is not always better. And a lot of times it's better, in my opinion, if you go to a meat store or a butcher. That way, if you like bacon, you could pick you out a nice slab and he could slice it exactly the way you want it, or, just to make sure that you get a good quality of meat. If you're going to spend your money, you might as well be content with what you're spending your money on. Just Blaze, as a empath, I have fear getting, oh, I have been getting depressed about all this stuff. Benji, I didn't even know what an empath was until I came to YouTube. And I started noticing different things about myself that I've always known, but I can never put a finger on it. And come to find out, the I found out that that's what I was. And sometimes you say to yourself, okay, well, you don't want nobody to take your kindness for a weakness. And, because you're always trying to find a softer, gentler, kinder way to speak or to be or to express yourself. You know, you don't want to come off as soft, but I have actually no control of how I come off to people, because once I check myself as a human being and my words start coming out, it is what it is. And I'm just glad that God has put me around people who allow me to be myself. That's very important. Yes, dear friend. Have a blessed day. Hmm. Most definitely. If you can grow your own vegetables, yes, by all means, do that. If you can grow your own herbs, by all means, do that. And it can be a project, it can be just a way of life, but you never know that green thumb that you're passing on may be something that you can leave someone to where they don't have to worry about scrounging for anything, because they have the knowledge and they have the wherewithal to make their own. So it's worth looking into. I truly had a good time hanging out with you guys. Thank you for allowing me to take my break and sit and talk with you. I do feel a lot better. I'm not 100%, but I will come to my channel from time to time to let you guys know that I'm good. Again, please make sure that if you do have enough to share, share. And once you do something for someone, don't look for acknowledgement. Don't look for thank yous or pats on the back or a news report or a citation. Just do it because it's the right thing to do. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for coming by. And like I said, I wanted to hang out so bad last night. I just didn't have it in me. But maybe later on today I might hang out with you guys. Love, peace, and aces. Well, Mr. William, love, peace, and chicken grease. Everyone have a beautiful and blessed holiday. What's this? Thank you, Crystal. I enjoyed being here with you in chat. May God of the universe continue to bless you. Thank you so much. That meant the world to me. That meant the world to me. And yes, God is blessing me. He's blessing me beyond. I can't even hold it all in my hands. I can't. Even if I use my arms, my feet, I still wouldn't be able to hold all the blessings that God has bestowed upon me. So, everyone have a beautiful and blessed holiday. Don't forget to check your food. Uh, like I told you, um, a very close family member is going through it right now, and I just want you guys to make sure that it doesn't matter how you look. If you have to keep putting hand sanitizer on your hands and things like that, you do that. You can wear a double mask and breathe. You do that. Make sure you keep up your doctor's appointments and make sure you get your medicine, your refills, all that good stuff. Make sure you have the basic things that you need in your home so that if you need to make something on a hump, you know, you don't always have to order out or whatever, you can do it. Thank you, Lola. I pray for you too. Thank you. Love, peace, and chicken grease, everybody.